Good evening, Freilich and Purim. It's actually Shushan Purim for me nowadays. Now at night. I hope everyone had a great Purim on your Dalid. Those of you being in Yerushalayim, hope you have a great Purim tonight and tomorrow. I had a spectacular Purim. As you can see, I'm dressed up as a farmer. You guessed it. I had more. I actually had suspenders and some jeans and some Crocs. So I really looked apart, and I actually was collecting matanas levyonim. Instead of collecting money, I collected vegetables. As a farmer during Shemitah, it's a little tough. The crop is not so vast this year, so we had to collect Shemitah for my fellow farmers. And again, my theme song was Veha Ikar, Veha Ikar, Lo Lefache, Lo Lefache Klal. Ikar, the way it's normally sung, is with an ayin. Ikar, the main part of life, not to be afraid. But Ikar could also be a farmer with an aleph. It means a farmer in Hebrew. If you want to be a farmer, especially in Israel, you can't be afraid. You have to trust in God. Hashem will provide for you during Shemitah, lo lefachet klal. Shemitah year, we collected plenty of vegetables and ate all the vegetables. My kids helped me eat all the vegetables that we collected. We used it as matanas avyon mishloach matan. We collected matanas avyon. We had a great time. I was going to random people in the street, collecting matanas avyon, offering people, paying people to take the vegetable. Actually, I paid someone 5 shekel, take 5 cucumbers, and 5 shekel, take a hot pepper. There was a failed attempt for a group of yeshiva bachrim to eat one whole jalapeno together for 50 shekel. They couldn't do it. One guy actually ate a little piece, and he frantically was searching for a drink. Couldn't find a drink. All right, let's start. We have a great also Eno with Ben Sion today coming up at a machlokas on Yuram and Beis, which talks about a fundamental machlokas. That's something we really haven't touched on about the whole Isser of Yibum is really there's an Isser of Eishazach, right? You didn't know this, but we haven't really discussed this. But the fact you can't marry your brother's wife unless it's a Makom of Yibum, unless he dies with no kids and you share a father. If you share a father with your brother, then and he has no kids, then you have the mitzvah of Yibum. If that's not the case, meaning he's not your paternal brother, he's your maternal brother, or he dies with kids, so then there's no mitzvah yibum, and there's a kares eishazach. So how does it work? Eishazach is mutter when he's your paternal brother and he has no children. Eishazach shel b'makom mitzvah. There's obviously no kares, and the mitzvah of yibum. Why don't we say anitzedach lo sijish bo kares? Right? It's kares is only eishazach. How is that actually removed? It's going to be borne out in the machlokas in Rabbi Yochanan and Yishlach. There's an interesting case where a person, it's choletz levim. There's a lot of brothers, right? You can have one brother, you can have 5 brothers, and one brother dies without children from his wife. So his wife falls in front of 4 other brothers. Now, let's say only one of those brothers has to do yibum chalitza. If he does chalitza, what's the case? Is there an eishazach still around? Shalom makom mitzvah. That's machlokas Yochanan and Shlakish. We'll get into the crux of the heter of eishazach makom mitzvah and isser eishazach shalom makom mitzvah. What's that all about? And the beginning Daf Yud Aleph, the beginning the Amud Aleph is going to be a continuation of yesterday's Daf. It was a little complicated with Levi's case, saying how many cases fit into our Mishnah. Let's continue with that on Yud Aleph. The Gemara says, the second line, Ravada Karchina Kamei Ravada Karchina Kamei the Rav Kahana Amar Mishmei the Rava Olam Isla the Rabbi Hanin Klali. Rabbi rebuked Levi. He said, Kimduma She'enli Moach Bekakado. It seems like he has no brain. To say that all 15 cases are represented in our Mishnah. Because we weren't talking about machlokas. It's only going to come out that 15 cases in machlokas because he applied it to this Gemara on Daf Chavav, which talks about a case where you have 4 brothers and 2 of them married to sisters. Can you find all 15 cases in our Mishnah? Would only come out with if the emo, and it says in our Mishnah emo, is Anusas Aviv not considered to be Nesuas Aviv, not married to the father, but Anusas Aviv. So he says, he does hold the kind of his problem wasn't that it's not found, it's just that you can't apply the exact wording of the Mishnah on Chavav to our Mishnah. It applies to one of the phrases, but not two of the phrases. Yaakov she'achayos anos. Yaakov was a father, right? So he raped two sisters. So if he raped two sisters and then he had children with those sisters, and then there was Yibum, a situation of Yibum fell to the brothers, to a brother who shared a father with Yaakov. So you're going to have sisters, right, that fall two sisters. But it's not going to be because each sister was raped by the father, and therefore each of the children that the rape bore was the sister was the aunt. So every kid, it's either your mother falling to you or it's your aunt falling to you in Yibum. In both cases, it'd be asur. It's not to be hasur lazem mutar asazet. It doesn't fit into the words on Daf Chavav. If Yaakov, the father, was ma'anes two ladies that were not related to each other, then it could be that the woman will be allowed to one brother, won't be allowed to the other brother, right? You can't marry your mother, but you can marry the other one. It's a nachriya to her. But you can't find a case for two sisters. You can't have a case for two sisters because he was ma'anes. He raped two different ladies who were nachriyos. So you can't come up with a case. You can't apply the exact lashon of that Mishnah on Daf Chavav. Rashi Amar la'olam leisle the Rebbe Hani Klal. He says, like the first opinion, that Rebbe doesn't hold to the general rule that Levi says. Uplukta kamairi. It's talking about, our Mishnah is talking about machlokes also. So if it's not machlokes, so why was he upset at Levi? Right? We said that the Mishnah could work in all 15 cases if you assume that it's anusas aviv and not nesuas aviv. What was he so bothered by? My time I lived the Yak Maslisin. Why didn't you make a diak for our Mishnah, an inference for our Mishnah? Maslisin Rabbi Yehudi. Why don't you say our Mishnah? Say clearly our Mishnah is Rabbi Yehudi. He asra b'anusas aviv. That he says that anusas aviv is like nesuas aviv. Anusas aviv, if your father rapes someone, that has the same din as if your father's married to someone. You can't marry your father's wife, even if she just raped him. Diksani sheisha rayas chamurus me'elim neishehin nesuas la'acher instead of saying mutaras. Imo be'eshes aviv achos aviv. This Mishnah later on says that there's arayos which are more chomer than the ones in on that base. 6 arayos are more chomer because there's no relation. They can't even be married to your brother. They can't even be married to your brother. So therefore, since they can't marry to your brother, so they're for sure not going to fall to you for yibum. So therefore, their sorrows are mutaros, because their sorrows are not coming from your brother, not coming from the Ishazach. What are those cases? So one of those cases, 3 of those cases, email your mother, Ishaz Aviv, the wife of your father, Achas Aviv, and the sister of your father. My email. What's the first email? It's talking about Owen married to your father. That's the second case, the wife of your father. Must be the Mishnah later on in this parak. Because they're married to other people. That they're married to other people. They can't marry to your brother. He's the one who says that you can't marry your father's, even a woman that your father raped. She's not married to your father. You can't marry him. Therefore, it didn't say that in the Mishnah, in that case in the Mishnah, because it wouldn't apply, because it would only be according to Rabbi Yehuda, and Mishnah is not like Rabbi Yehuda. So why didn't he say that was bothering Rabbi? Why didn't Levi point that out, that it can't be, the only way it could apply in our Mishnah is Rabbi Yehuda, and according to Rabbi Yehuda, that's the Mishnah later on, So it wouldn't apply in our Mishnah. Ravina says Rav Ashi, no, according to Yehuda, it could also be found in our Mishnah, the first Mishnah. It could apply in our first Mishnah. How could it be? The Avar Nasif, right? If your brother would go and marry your father's, the woman that he raped, right? Even though he's not allowed to, that could happen, and that could be a case in our Mishnah where you marry your father's wife. So that could be a case in our Mishnah. That's usher, but maybe that's talking about a case where he did it. He went anyway, and he married her. So the Gemara says, "Di lo kasani." We don't talk about cases where you're not allowed to do it, where there's an you're violating Isser. Only Rav Ashi the Rav Kahana below the inami mishkachsa. Rashi says back to Rav Kahana, you could even find it even if there was no Isser involved. Yaakov honest kala. So what's the case? Yaakov, father, rapes his daughter-in-law. Right? He has a son. I don't know. Yisrael. Yisrael was a son. Yaakov had a son Yisrael, and he had a daughter-in-law. I don't know, Rachel, let's say, and he raped his daughter-in-law, Holy Mena Ben, and he had a child with her from that rape. Well, Mace Reuven below Bonim, and Reuven, I guess Reuven will be Yisrael. Yisrael died without any children. Benafal Lakame Bra. So the mother, right? She falls in front of her son. Her son is really her brother also. They share the same father. Because she's Aser, so her son is also Aser. It's the exact case around Mishnah of Kari. We're not talking about cases. Again, this is not, he's not doing an Isser to create the Yibam, but it's a case of the whole partnership, the whole brotherhood was created by an onus over here. Someone did something wrong. To create the brother, she had a brother through rape, so it's not exactly it's Isser. We're not talking about that. Aval Pikan Bodka Levi Masisim. Even though Rebbe chided Levi, Levi wanted to fit into our mission. Tani Levi Ima Pamim Poteres Saras. Pamim Poteres Sarasa. Sometimes the mother, she's able to pater the Sarah, sometimes not. Ketzad Haisa Ima Nasuas Aviv. If the mother was married to the father, when he says La'echav, no Aviv, Umes, Zui Imo, She'en Poter Sarasa. So this is a case of a mother that doesn't pater her Sarah. Because, again, if she's married to the father, right, so she can't be married to, and they have a son, right, and so he has a brother, this guy has a brother, the son of this father and mother, and they share, and the father with a different woman, has a brother, has another son, so he has a paternal brother, right? So the paternal brother can't marry the mother, and the mother, because she's his father's wife. So it's in Patera Sarasa, because it's forbidden marriage, it wouldn't work out. Haisa, case would work out. Yodam and base. Haisa Iman is Aviv, but if he just raped the mother, when he says Lachav Ma'aviv, in which case the paternal brother is allowed to marry the mother because it's not his father's wife. So that would be the case of the mother where she would part of the sorrow, because he could be married to her, and then who would fall in front of the brother? It would be his mother. His mother would fall in front of him, and therefore she'd be kari. So therefore she part of the sorrow. Therefore, Levi says, really, we could really add in a case. It should really be 16. This case where it's a news of Rish Lakish Rabbi Yochanan, Levi the Amar the Inami Kasani. Levi, it says, right. The reason that Rebbe said that we don't include it is because we don't take cases where there was anusa, a rape was something you're not supposed to do. So therefore, Levi is the Inami Kasani. Listen to Hacholitzim the Chazer Kitcho Mace below Bonim. Why don't you say another case, a 17th case perhaps? Let's say a case where a Yevamos falls to numerous brothers, and one of the brothers does chalitza, and then after does chalitza, then he goes back as Makadisher and dies below Bonim, and now he dies without any children. So therefore, the migu the asira sarasa nami asira, because she's an usher to the other brother. So therefore, her saras, right, from the first marriage, or for rival wives from the first marriage, are also usher. Amalei lefisha enam sara. So he says there the reason is because there's no sara. It's not possible to have. Our Mishnah includes a case where the sara, the sara of the sara. So it's impossible for this lady, the sara of the first wife, to go ahead and remarry the brothers. Like we're going to see that the Sarah is an Eishes Ach, Shalom Makom Mitzvah, so she can never happen. There could be a Sarah on the Sarah, because you'd have to have the Sarah remarrying in order to have a Sarah on the Sarah. Why didn't Rabbi Yochanan say to Reish Lakish? We're going to see this in Malchokes soon. He should have said to him, "They're Chayve Lavin," like he holds. It's an Isser of when one there's Chalitza and then Kiddushin. So therefore, Asher lo yivne beis echad. Chayve lav minei chalitza v'yivnenu. It's only Isser lav. The pasuk says Asher lo yivne beis achiv. So we learn from that. Kevan shelo bana shuv lo yivne. Once he already didn't build, he did chalitza. I mean, he refused to build his brother's house. Even if he changes his mind afterwards, he can't go ahead and marry that woman. And that's an Isser lav. According to Rabbi Yochanan, it's a law for everybody. There's always an Isser lav, not just him, but also for that Yevamos Saras, and also for all the other brothers that were involved. There's always going to be a lav. Asher lo yivna. Say it's only a lav. Why do you have to say that it potters it because it's kares for Sarah and Sarah, all the Saras also? Why do you say Shenei B'Sarah Sarah? Why is that his excuse? So he was saying, even according to Shlach, if there's only a chayve lav and shar lo yivne, right? It's only a lav, so therefore it doesn't pater chalitza and yibum. Only kares paters, removes the necessity of chalitza and yibum. El didcha chayve krisis, now you hold chayve krisis. The initial H is actual makom mitzvah. We'll see in a second. So therefore, I'll still answer you. It wouldn't make sense to list this case because there's no sarah, and our Mishnah includes cases of sarah. Now we're going to get to the meat and potatoes. If you didn't eat meat and potatoes at your Sudas Purim, you can have some meat and potatoes now. Machlokes, a juicy machlokes, between Reish Lakish and Rabbi Yochanan. Yevamos Lamdas at its best, and this is going to be the installment of Yom Sion. We're going to enjoy this a little bit. So the Gemara says, this is the case. Right? Let's say there's 5 brothers, right? One brother is married to a wife. He dies without children. Now, there's 4 other brothers that can do chalitza or yibum. So normally we say, we'll learn later on that the first option in the mitzvah is the gadol. The oldest brother gets the opportunity to do yibum or chalitza. He can do whatever he wants. Some say it's better to do chalitza, some say it's better to do yibum. Nowadays, do chalitza, not yibum. So he chose to do chalitza. And then after he did chalitza, then he decided he regretted what he did. He wants to mekadesh this yevama. Amar Reish Lakish, Shu ein chayav al chalutza kares. He's not chayav. If he went ahead and consummates his kedushin and goes and marries this woman, doesn't he sue it? This bowl her. So he is not chayav kares with that woman anymore. It's not called Eishach Shalom Makom Mitzvah kares, which is kares in the Torah. It's only a lav. Ve'achen chayav al chalutza kares. But the brothers, the 3 other brothers, if they go ahead and are boel this woman, so they're chayav kares. For them, it's called Eishach Shalom Makom Mitzvah. Al Sarah, beinu bein ha'achem chayavin. Al Sarah kares. And what about the Sarah? What about, right? The brother had not one wife. The first brother had one wife. He had 2 wives, let's say. So he did chalitza on 1 wife. So the Sarah, right? So even if the guy who did the chalitza now he wants to marry the Sarah, so for him it's also called for sure the other brothers. It's also called Eishach Shalom Makom Mitzvah. That's kares, according to Reish Lakish. Yochanan Amar Beinu Ben Achin En Chayav and Allah Chalutza Kares Allah Tzara Kares. There's no more kares in my time with Reish Lakish. He said there's no more kares anymore. Once there's chalitza, so it's called Asher Lo Yivne Beisecha Kevan Shabana Shul Lo Yivne. Once you didn't build, you can't rebuild it. So it's only a lav. It's not kares anymore. We'll get into the lamdas of this machlok Reish Lakish or Yochanan during Yom Ben Sion. So the Gemara says, my time with the Reish Lakish. What's the reason of the Lakish? I'm a crush, Charlie Yivne, Kevan Shalobana. Since he didn't build, Shuvlo Yibana, Ihu the Kai below Yivne. He is responsible for only the law of Yivne. Aval Achav, Kedekai Mekaimer. His brothers remain in the Isra Eish Mitzvah, which is kares, right? Just like your brother's wife is Asr. If he had kids, it's Asr kares. Dida who the Kabbalah Yivna. Only for that wife that did Chalitza, he has a lav. Ha Sarah could the Sarah is an Isra of Karesh. Yochanan says, Mi'ika Midi Mikara, Ibai Hai Chalitz, Ibai Chalitz. Originally, he could have been Chalitz, one wife, or Chalitz the other wife, the Sarah, Ibai Lahai Chalitz, Ibai Lahai Chalitz. Or each brother had the opportunity potentially to be Chalitz each other woman. Vahashta Kayala Bakaris, and now he's Mekaris. Must be al iyu shlichusa da achim ka'aver. The brother does chalitza. He's doing a shlichus for all the brothers. A chalitza for all of them. Ihi shlichusa the sarah ka'avda. The woman who has the chalitza done to her, she's also pattering doing chalitza for the other sarah, for the rival wife, and therefore everyone has only asher lo yivne alav. There's no more kares anymore. Eser Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish. Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish have proof against Yomar Brayz. Chalitz yivim tov v'chazer v'kidshel meis. Shlich chalitza min ha'achin. She needs chalitza. This exact case. She needs chalitza min ha'achin. Mishlamol didi damina chayve lavin. Ninu. It's only chayve lavin. And once the original chalitza is done, it's only chayve lavin for everybody. Hainu desricha chalitza min ha'achin. That's why you need chalitza. El didcha. My shricha chalitza. Why do you need chalitza from the achin? It should all be nisra of kares. Once we know there's kares, there's no yivno chalitza. That's what we know from the first Mishnah. Well, Tamayach, this is back to him. Rish Lakish is back to him. Ema safe. I say the end of the brayz. Amar Echem and Achan v'Kidsha. One of the brothers went and was makadesh. The lady ein la alav klum. Doesn't count. V'chayve lavin. And if it's like you or Yochanan has chayve lavin, and mine ein la alav klum. But now we know that according to the Rabbanan, kedushin tovsin b'chayve lavin. There is kedushin by chayve lavin, not by kares. Amar Sheisha seifa asnar bekiva. Shesh's answer is no. The Seifa, the Reish is not. The Seifa is going to Rabbi Akiva. Damar ain't kedushin tosim l'chayve lavin. The Seifa is going to Rabbi Akiva. Who holds kedushin not tosim l'chayve lavin? And really, Rabbi Yochanan is right. So Reish Lakish says, "Listen to Dir Rabbi Akiva. Ain't no love klum." Why did, if that's it's only half of the brayzos according to Rabbi Akiva, why did the brayzos say Dir Rabbi Akiva? Because the Reish is not Rabbi Akiva. So the Gemara answers on the top of Yud Aleph and an Aleph. The Gemara says, "Kashya." It is a good question. So it's not really conclusive from the Braysa. Is it like Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish? We're going to get more into Malchokis, Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish, Iyun Ben Sion, that Ikar Lo Lefachid Klal. See you and Iyun Ben Sion coming up right now.